He can actually be played in Magic right now as a 7-drop. He's got a really big size, 6/6 is huge for this game, and a 4/2 with Rage. So he attacks as a 6/4, or rather a 4/4 with Rage, attacks as a 6/4. That can fearlessly attack the first time because once per game, if he be destroyed, you remove all damage from him instead. So he doesn't even die the first time. He attacks as an 8/4 the second time, and I don't know. He attacks, he blocks at the same time. He makes all your team hard to kill. He's great. There's really nothing wrong with him. Only thing about him is that he's expensive. But if your deck can get to 7, then that's where you want to be. So let's see. Moving on down to Inner Conflict. This is a great removal spell. It costs 2, has 1 white threshold. Target troop gets permanent, cannot attack or block. This troop can't attack or block. So basically that troop can't do anything. There are not many troops with abilities. It can't kill a guy with Inspire, so it can keep on inspiring other people. But, you know, if they have a fighty kind of guy, this gets that guy basically out of the game. At 2 cost, it's perfectly costed for that sort of effect. I think it's totally playable as spot removal in a white control deck or even white aggro deck, really. And obviously it's a top pick in draft.
Yeah, definitely super good for draft. It looks on the surface pretty similar to the Pacifism and cards like that in Magic, but this has a pretty good upside in that you can't actually destroy Inner Conflict. Its text becomes part of the card, so they can't remove Inner Conflict. And then if the card would die or return to their hand or their library or something, it still can't attack or block if it comes back later. So it's got upside. Definitely solid. Could see constructed play and very high pick for draft. Then we have Judgment. It's a 6 cost, triple diamond threshold, basic action, so like a sorcery in Magic. It says destroy all cards with cost less than the highest cost among cards you control. So if you play this and you have like a 5-drop, everything that costs 4 or less is going to be destroyed. The effect is very powerful, but I think it's going to be tough to actually find a good home for this deck. It looks like a control card because it wants to destroy things on the board, but the problem there is that you need to have something more expensive than their guys to get anything done with this card. So I think there's some tension there that's probably going to keep it out of constructed play for the most part, or at least from my analysis so far. In draft, I think it's going to be too hard to try to get something out of this. I mean, like, you might first pick this and then never see anything good that costs 6 or something. So I'd probably not pick this in drafts. Not a likely candidate for constructed.
I'm not. This is in an odd reversal of where me and Wretched usually are. I actually see a little more potential for this. I think, well, first off, it's sweet after King Gabriel because none of your guys will die because they all have that once per game ability instead.
I think that ability only applies for damage, though, actually.
No, it says once per game, if it be destroyed, instead remove all damage. They don't have any damage, but they're still not destroyed. It just removes all 0 damage from it. Additionally, that's about all I can see. I mean, I guess if you play like a Hex Engine, which is like a mana exilling artifact that costs 4, and then play Judgment, it at least kills all their small guys, which is not totally unreasonable. And in Limited, I think it's not bad if you're playing against an aggressive deck and you have more like a slow kind of control thing. So like you play a 4-drop on turn 4, and then you just kind of kill, again, they're small guys after holding the ground a little bit. You'll take some damage early, but I think with Judgment you can come back, and it always saves your best card. Your best card ever dies. So there is that. It's not great. I think there is some weird tension to it, as Wretched said, but I do see some more potential. Let's see, moving on to Kraken Guard Mariner. This is the start of the Inspire chain. So this is a 1/1 for 1. It has Inspire, another troop with cost equal to greater this troop's cost. That's the Inspire ability. Comes into play, it gets permanent +0/+1. So I guess this is playable. It makes all your guys tougher. Becoming tougher isn't a great effect. That's not really where you want to be in constructed. You really would want to have more power and less toughness. But, you know, as a 1-drop, I guess it's fine. I mean, it makes all your guys better for the rest of the game. So, and it only costs 1, so it will actually make all of your guys better. There's no one it won't be. I think even most of the tokens have an extra cost that's higher than 1. So, Yeah, I think it's fine. In draft, I would actually definitely draft it. It's one of the few 1/1s I would draft. It's a terrible top deck, but if you can play it early, making all your guys have more toughness is actually really good in draft.
Yeah, pretty much same opinion here. I usually don't like to play one drops in draft unless they're like high impact, but this guy definitely qualifies. If you play him on turn 1 or 2, then all your guys are going to be better, which is good in drafts. Yeah, so quality one drop for draft. Constructed, if you're playing the Inspire deck, I could see him going in. I mean, he's a decent card, but nothing crazy. Then we have Legionnaire of Adamanth. This guy is a 6 cost, single diamond threshold, 0/0. Let's see, as the game starts, this troop gets permanent +1/+1 for every 3 humans in your deck. So, assuming you had 18 humans, including himself, in your deck, he would be a 6/6. And even then, 6/6 for 6 is not the greatest. I'd rather just be casting King Gabriel in Constructed, and then he puts a huge constraint on your deck building. So, if you want to include like troops of other types, he's not really going to be that good. And then even if you had all the humans, it's just he's nothing special. He's a big guy for a lot of mana. In draft, you're probably not going to be even at 18 creatures, and that's assuming they were all humans. So it's unfortunate that this card is rare, but I would probably never play him in Constructed and not be happy to open him in draft.
Yeah, as a rare, he's pretty. I mean, I'd be really unhappy to open this guy unlimited. Basically, this is a blank card. I mean, the average draft deck's going to have 13 to 15 creatures. They're definitely not all going to be human. He's probably going to be like a 2/2. In Constructed, if you play the 24 humans deck, he is an 8/8 for 6 with no abilities. I don't think that's good enough, especially if the all-human deck, which it will be, is very aggressive. So you'll have this like really aggressive deck and this stupid 6-drop with nothing. It doesn't fit in the deck, the only deck it's good in. So I think he's basically unplayable in all formats. I would never draft him, and I would never play him in Constructed. And I hope to never open him or see him in my card pool ever.
Yeah, one of the things about like an aggressive deck like that is when you get to your expensive creatures, you want something really special or powerful, and he's just a guy. He just attacks and blocks. Nothing.
Not even at the same time, like King Gabriel. He's just taps to attack.
Yeah.
So going on to another giant stupid jerk, Ozawa Cosmic Elder. He's even more expensive than the Legionnaire. This guy costs 8 with 2 white threshold, and he has Life Drain. He's also a 0/0, but he gets +X+X, but where X is your health. So the only problem with this guy is that I feel like on turn 8, your health's going to be approximately 0.
Yeah.
That's really the problem with this guy. If you can like magically keep yourself alive with life gain cards and whatever, then he's pretty cool. I mean, 8 is a lot though. 8 is way more mana than even 7 and way more mana than 6. I don't think you're going to get to 8. And if you do, you're not going to be anywhere near 20. You're probably going to be at like 4. I worry about playing this guy and then murdering him or something, and then you're going to feel like a pretty big idiot. In limited, he's just too expensive. You're never going to get there. He's like that limited trap who seems cool, but he's actually terrible.
I'm curious to know, with Life Drain, if you punched and like their 0/1 fucking blocked it, would you still gain the full attack, or would you just gain 1 life?
If it works like it does in Magic, you will gain all the damage it deals, which is 8.
Okay.
They will take 8 damage and be dead. The other thing, if it works like Magic as well, they can't kill you before Life Drain triggers in effect, or when Life Drain works, you gain life as it deals damage, so they can't like jump attack into your Ozawa and kill you through it. I mean, if they have a big enough power, I guess they can, but if Ozawa is any reasonable size, which I'm pretty sure it won't be on turn 8, they can't do that. However, again, I think it's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just too expensive for, again, a guy that doesn't do anything. Like, he can gain life once he's back in play to, like, hopefully get you back in the game, but he'll just die to any removal or tap effect, like Inner Conflict or Murder, or if they have a way to bypass him. Just not enough impact for a whole lot of costs. Drafting Constructed probably would not play. Next card is Phoenix Guard Aeronaut. He's a 5-cost, single white threshold, 3/4 with flight. And he has a special ability. It says each opposing champion who played a card this turn can't attack with troops. Each opposing champion who attacked with a troop this turn can't play cards. So they basically get to choose one, either attack or play cards. I think this card is actually pretty interesting. The fact that he makes your opponent make a decision that both ends are bad for them is pretty cool. It's definitely going to hamper them unless they have a removal spell to kill him on the spot. With 4 toughness, he's probably going to survive most burn spells, but he'll still die to murder and inner conflict. I'd definitely be happy to open this in draft because they're probably not going to be able to deal with him. He's a flying creature, and they're going to have to spend one of their premium removal spells on him. In constructed, I'm not so sure, but I think he has potential. Not great, but definitely worth considering.
I want to point out that inner conflict doesn't deal with the ability. It only deals with the body. So they'll still have to be hampered by only attack or only play cards. Additionally, since it's played cards, you can't even play a land if you want to attack. So, the sources are they're just as bad. You can't play spells or lands, or you can attack. That's basically it.
Pretty big setback.
So I think he's good. In limited, I would totally draft him. He's at 3/4 for fly with flight. That's great. that is fine. 3/4 flyers for 5 is acceptable, even with no abilities.
Yeah.
In constructed, it's a little bit expensive for the body, but it's a pretty unique ability, and maybe it's good if they want to. If they can't do combat tricks, basically, there's no such thing as combat tricks against Phoenix Guard Aeronaut. It's either trick or combat. So that's it. So going on to Princess Victoria. Okay, so this is a weird, aggressive person who wants to be in the aggressive deck but has terrible stats. She is a 3 casting cost 1/2 with 1 white threshold with life drain. If she's in your opening hand, you can reveal her, and she gets a permanent cost -3, so she's free. Additionally, she has Inspire, and Inspire gets permanent life drain, which is pretty cool as well. So, okay, this person is great on the first turn, obviously, as a 1/2 for 0. However, if you don't have it in your hand on the first turn, her stats are really bad. Life Drain is an ability that isn't really great in aggressive decks. They don't really care about their life total as much as the opponent's life total. So, Life Drain is a kind of a weird choice for Inspire, where you want people to kind of get in there and be better and bigger. And a 1/2 for 3 has got pretty terrible stats, but I don't know. If it's required for the Inspire deck, then I guess she's also a legend, which makes it even worse. You can't even play 2 on the first turn and really get there. But I don't know. It could be playable, I suppose. I don't like it though. I don't think I'd play it even in the Inspire deck. And in draft, oh my god, you're gonna draw it on turn 4 and feel like an idiot with your 1/2.
Yeah, for draft, probably unplayable. For constructed, it's even more swingy than it might appear at first because, so if you have it in your opening hand, its cost is reduced by 3, so it's going to inspire even more troops. If you draw it on turn 2, its cost is still going to be 3, and it's going to inspire, a whole lot less. So, very swingy. I probably would not want to play this card just because the variance is so high, and it has a good chance of being a dead card. Our next card is Protectorate Clergyman. He's a 3-cost, single white threshold, 3/2. He has Inspire, and his ability is as another troop with cost equal to or greater than this troop's cost enters play under your control, gets permanent +1/+1. So this is like the super Inspire ability. +1/+1 is really good. It's better obviously than the Pyromancer or the Kraken Guard. He seems like one of the reasons that you would want to play an Inspire deck. And he might even be good just by himself, not in an Inspire deck, as long as you're playing a bunch of creatures. In limited, his stats alone, 3 for a 3/2 is decent, and he's probably going to inspire a lot of stuff. And I think he has a good chance of seeing playing constructed.
I tend to agree, especially if in constructed you can play a lot of them. It also is cost equal to, which is important. If you play the second Clergyman, it gets boosted as well. and then all your guys from then on become gigantic. So I think this guy has definitely a strong chance in a white aggressive deck if such a deck exists.